What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are doing a general analysis on the crypto markets today. We're going to look at the crypto fear and greed index on CoinMarketCap. We're going to look at a couple of charts and just see if we can give a general expectation for what the average altcoin may or may not do over the coming days, over the coming weeks. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Nothing fancy here, you guys. We're just going to do some quick stuff, okay? Looking at the fear and greed index here on CoinMarketCap, if it'll load. Hold on, man. Looking at this here, we're not really in those areas that we typically do hit on the extreme levels for the greed, right? Typically, whenever we get here, we're at those relative highs where we consolidate for a very long time. Here, we've been slowly moving up, having small consolidation phases with Bitcoin and moving up slowly and methodically, but not really getting to these super greedy areas. Did I say fear? I meant greed, not these super greedy areas, right? We are in a stronger positioning here, and the way that I would look at the fear and greed index is like kind of strength versus weakness. Right? When we're fearful, we're in times of weakness. When we're greedy, we're in times of strength, typically. And we're working our way up there. I think it's very obvious that we're working our way up to these extreme greed levels. So we've got a big move coming. It's brewing right now. We've even exited the greed area, the green area, the greed area here, and we're in this neutral zone now, which is pretty good, right? It's pretty good that we're in this neutral zone, especially considering that if we're looking at this on a weekly time frame, let's see, back here on July 7th, when was this? If we look at July 7th, that was back over here this week. I guess actually, let's see. Oh, that was the beginning of the week. Hold on. So maybe the daily time frame. Let's look at the daily time frame. Back here on July 11th through July 14th. That was whenever we first made this run, or when we were at the top of this run here, July 11th through July 14th. If we go back to July 11th, July 14th, that was this time here. We were in the greed. We were at about a 69 on the greed to a 70 on the levels of greed here, and we're at the same prices now. We're literally at the same prices. We're even actually below there, just barely below there. I guess we're at the same prices here as we were then, but we're right in that same area now, and we're definitely cooled off on the fear and greed index. So that's nice. It allows us to run higher without seeing those extreme greed levels come in, and that, of course, time and time again has marked the relative highs. Now, something to pay attention to is if we're looking at the price here, it's kind of complicated. I don't like CoinMarketCap. If you're watching this, man, I don't like how it's set up. I don't like how. I like that the information. I can't really show you guys. I can't point to it, but the information is transparent, so it doesn't block all this stuff. But I don't like how every time I'm scrolling, it comes through here, and the gray on the Bitcoin reading, it just doesn't pop. There's got to be a better way to do this, man. There's got to be a better way to do this. But if we're looking at, that's kind of nice. If we're looking at this here, the Bitcoin price, whenever it tops off, you've already been in extreme greed for a little while, right? That was February 28th. You topped off there later, about a half month later, right? Here, you're in extreme greed. You started here on November 10th, and you didn't top off until December 16th, right? About a month later. So just saying, we're not even in extreme greed yet, and when that happens, we have a 2 to 5 week window where we can't expect a high to come in. So we've got a lot of growth to go, you guys. A lot of growth. The big move hasn't happened yet. We're loading up for that, okay, with Bitcoin, okay? And with wherever Bitcoin goes, the average altcoin will follow. Here, 116.8K now. I mean, we're almost there, man. I really would expect that Bitcoin does bounce at about 116.5K. We're almost there to about 114.5K. So something in this area here. We're going to get some volatility and then continue to rally. If Bitcoin drops that much, let's just see what that would be, okay? Looking at some charts now. That would imply that we're going to see anything from another 0.4% drop to, at the most, if my expectations are correct, the largest drop we should see is a 2% drop. For the average altcoin, that should imply a 10% drop at the most, 5% drop, something like that, maybe even less than a 5% drop from the current prices. So if you're watching this video now on the 15th of August, a little bit past midway through the day, we got about 8 hours left in the day here. You shouldn't be too concerned. I know that it's concerning when your favorite altcoins are dropping, but it shouldn't be too concerning. I mean, let's look at this on a daily time frame. We're down 1.1% today. The others chart here, this is the average altcoin. This is your altcoin index is down 3.2%. So we are outpacing Bitcoin a little bit more than a 2-to-1 ratio. Not quite a 3-to-1 ratio, but still outpacing it a little bit. If we're looking at this chart here, we rejected the overbought zone. Man, I ate peanuts before this. Don't eat peanuts if you have to talk, you guys. They're great. They're good for you, but man, they choke you out. You'd think I'd learned my lesson by now. I can't help myself. I really do like peanuts, man. But anyways, they're good, man. When's the last time you just ate some peanuts? I'm telling you, man. Get a bag of peanuts and you won't be sorry. Gotta be toasted though. They gotta be toasted, roasted, whatever. Salted, nice, little nice touch. But anyways, yeah, definitely looking like you could bounce from this area, but you've rejected your overboughts, and so a little bit lower wouldn't be too bad. You're at an area where you could bounce on the stochastics, on the RSI, and even on the MACD. You know, it's not uncommon for whenever you touch these kind of points here that you continue to rally to the upside. You did that here. You kind of did that here. Not really any examples of that going back here, but that's okay. Did that right there, did that right there, touched it here, but then to the downside. You know, we're at places to bounce on all these indicators. Doesn't mean that we have to bounce here, but we're getting near a point. I think that the average altcoin looking like this, you're kind of in this M shape. It gives traders and investors, speculators, the idea that we're going to go all the way down, that we're going to see some kind of massive drop, and maybe we do. Maybe we do. But oftentimes these M patterns do, whenever they look like this, they're just false, and you continue to rally. Like, let's see if I can find one that looks like that here. We have one right here, actually, right? You've got one right here, and boom, people are starting to connect the dots, and we actually went higher, right? Here's one that actually worked out, right there. We did go lower, but we still didn't go all the way down to this low here. It's the same thing with W's. Not always do they work out, man. You know, you had this M pattern here. It didn't work out. It didn't work out, and we went higher. So I'm just saying, I think that we will find support here at some point. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I feel like I'm boring myself already. Low to high here. The expectation would be, I mean, at the lowest, we see altcoins drop on average about another 8%. 8 to 10%, okay? If not, we're probably at an area where we'll find support, and anything from like a 2% drop or more would do, okay? So we're very near a point where the average crypto in the markets should be moving up. Sentiment is shaky. A lot of people probably FOMO the top recently. What we're seeing is just that shakeout effect taking full effect right now. And, you know, people unfortunately will make the wrong decisions and sell the lows after buying the highs. Don't let it be you, okay? Buy the lows, buy the dips. If you've got nothing to buy the dip with, you spent it all at the highs, or you're just fully allocated no matter what, like I am. Just hold, just hodl. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Buy more if you can, and be patient, my friends. I think that we're very close to seeing this shakeout resolve itself. Like I said, it would be short-lived but intense. It's really not that intense, honestly. For a crypto shakeout, this is a pretty damn modest shakeout, but I think that we're almost there. We're just not quite done with it yet. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, it'll be done. It'll be completed. And then next week, I would expect, because it is Friday today, right? It is Friday today. I would expect that next week, that's when we start to recover. Going into the end of the month, that's when we start to recover. Remember, we're not quite at those levels of greed, extreme greed, that we normally see when we're akin to a top for Bitcoin, a relative high in the markets for Bitcoin. And typically, once we get to those extreme greed levels, we continue to move up, and altcoins will rally as well for about anywhere from a like 3 to 6 week period. Maybe it was like a 2 to 5 week period, something like that. But we got a lot, and that's the best time, right? We've been moving up now steadily, and I'm going to go back to the Bitcoin chart here. We've been moving up now slowly but steadily, right? Little pumps, and then we consolidate. Little pumps, and then we consolidate. Whatever. Little pump here, and then we consolidate. This next move should be more like these moves here. I think Bitcoin is really going to start to get a fire under its butt, and it's going to start to run at a much faster pace. We should see 140K soon by the end of this month, 160K, 180K going into September, and looking for a multi-$100,000 price and beyond by the end of this year, and then certainly going into 2026. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.